I glorify the Lord who allowed me to die as a victim of human sacrifice and be buried, and return to this world after 3 years in order to speak about what I saw. I can afford to say I know the unseen world because I lived there for 3 years. People ask me if ancient gods have horns and are monstrous. In truth, while I was living in the realm of the fallen, ancient gods were humanoid, for they look human, but it is when they want to fulfill their purpose of destruction of men in the world, that they become monstrous and they turn to serpent, dragon and reptiles. Even their leader Lucifer was humanoid, though he can take many shape and appear like a child or youngster. Living in the realm of the fallen, I had access to the mysteries of the universe, that Satanist could not access, simply because Satanists come to this magical world of fantasy and return to earth. Lucifer built a fantastic civilization where there is no day and no night, for it is a seductive and shining world of technology and advancement. But I was dead and I was supposed to end the years of my life in this mysterious world of fallen angels underwater. For the goddess of love Magdala, it was crystal clear that I would never return to live a normal life in the land of human to tell their secret because I was officially dead. Thus I had many access, and today many people go to visit my grave where I was buried, but there is nothing inside that coffin. Since I knew the mysteries of fallen angels, Lucifer himself turned up in the day of my liberation to stop pastors from releasing me from his grip. Lucifer is the god of this world. When he come for confrontation, he always use intimidation, causing natural phenomena like earthquake. On that day in the church the place shook and many pastors ran away because the land would not stop shaking. The enemy wanted to capture me in order to stop me from revealing hidden mysteries of the realm of the fallen. I knew secret that Satanists don't know. I was an inhabitant of the submarine kingdom. Today people are dying prematurely. These deaths are not in the will of God because they are human sacrifice. In truth, every man on the earth has a number of years that the Lord gave him to live. The way God works is that he does not reduce people years but he extend people years. Since the devil has built unseen kingdom with fallen angels, he want to populate his kingdom with human and as well as demon. There are daily sacrifice, weekly sacrifice, monthly sacrifice and yearly sacrifice. And every country on the earth offer a specific number of people in sacrifice to the devil every year as taxes. These victims that die prematurely in accident and natural disaster become slaves in the spirit world. These people whose lives are interrupted because of human sacrifice are enrolled in the army of Lucifer until they reach the numbers of the years allocated to them by God. The abode of the dead does not receive people who die before their time, and these wandering spirits are integrated in the army of Lucifer. My cousin was a businessman and he offered me as a human sacrifice in order to advance his business. I died for 3 years, and when I died I first arrived to the world of witches, the headquarters of slave transaction. For people who are dying prematurely because of human sacrifice are turned to slaves at the service of the realm of the fallen. After some month in the astral world of witches and slavery, I went to live in the world of fallen angels where I spent 3 years. I was turned to a demon by the goddess of love after being enrolled in the army of Satan. When I became a demon I had reached a level where mystic and Satanist were invoking and summoning me, and I was manifesting in order to solve their problem and then disappear because I became technically a demon. Initially when I arrived to this mysterious world of fallen angels under the sea, I was instructed to get married and I had children and I was working and being paid. When I died, first I live in the terrestrial world as a revenant. People could not recognize me, but I recognized people that I knew before I died. I operated like revenant and phantom. I was sleeping in the cemetery for I had no homes, until the arrival of the Queen Madeline, who decided to lead us to her world underwater. On that day we went to the coast of the National River. When she opened the river we saw a fantastic city of fallen angel under the river with many advanced skyscraper. We step on the river where a golden boulevard appear and we walk toward the world of fallen angels underwater where the Queen Magdalene receive us. Since we had to function like demon, we went through esoteric training to acquire mysterious knowledge to operate like demon, and we finally acquire scientific knowledge where I have learned to drive cars, planes and boat. In this world of the fallen I even learn music, for celebrity came for new song that we compose. even new instrumental rhythm and new dance choreography, and those who listened to their song came under manipulation. Recently people died in a concert in our country. We know it's a sacrifice. Some people even disappear never to be found. There are human sacrifice where the witch strike the victim with sickness that lead to death. There are sacrifice where people have sudden death like cardiac arrest. This sacrifice pay the celebrity more than the previous one, and the sacrifice where people have gone missing pay more than the previous one. I was sent to a mission in a village and I assumed the appearance of a taxi driver and I embark a pupil that I drove to the world of Satan with my car because we were capturing people. I was able to assume the appearance of a woman or child to execute my assignment. During my training in this world of ancients God I learn information technology and sport. We were trained to enter the body of people like demon in order to manipulate and influence them to act certain ways. I received the training how to kill a non-Christian person and the training to kill a Christian. We learn to capture people's spirit and kill people mysteriously, and we learn what to do in case we face resistance from Christian. When the training ended we were regularly called to intervene as reinforcement in different operation of destruction in the world of men. We were successful in many mission and operation of destruction on the land. Then we reach a moment where we began to face deadly danger. The Queen was sending us to destroy Christian. We were experiencing counterattack from Christian. When I had become technically a demon, my cousin who sacrificed me wanted to sacrifice more members of the family for his business. I was able to free members of my family that were being taken to the prison of the world of Satan. He offered many family member in sacrifice and when they died, I saw them in the world of Satan. Since I was able to see their spirit that were in chains being dragged to prison, I intervened to free them and return their spirit to their body. As a result all my cousin's sacrifice was hindered by me. As long as I was in this world of Satan my cousin knew that he will not be able to sacrifice member of my family because I will release them. Since he was failing to offer sacrifice require from him he was asked to offer his hair as a sacrifice but he refused. He was asked to offer his hand but he refused. He was so much under pressure that he offered his back to the devil, meaning he could no longer have a child, and he was punished because he began to bleed like women menstrual period. From the beginning of our training the Queen Magdalene told us because of the training we are to receive no power can oppose and stand toe-to-toe against us. We shall conquer all opposition. There is no power that can overcome us. We are above all power and we were taught that we are even stronger than God himself for he is powerless. But over time, we began to lose colleague who die in these operation against Christian. Some were left paralyzed and burn. I found these incident dangerous and grave. I asked the Queen, why are we losing men in these operation that have become dangerous? The goddess of love shouted at me and said, don't ask me these questions anymore. But since we continue to record casualty in the battlefield against Christian, I went to the Queen Magdalene again to inquire. This time around I was angry for losing a friend and I felt that she was sending me to danger. The Queen got angry and her hair turned to snake and she was about to kill me. Magdalene has so much hair that it reached her feet, and when I was insulting her she stood and got angry and began to shake in fury. As she was shaking her long hair stood around and became snake. Finally I saw that she calmed down and then she called my cousin who had offered me as a sacrifice for his business, to come and join her, in order to take me for she no longer wanted me in her service. So when the Queen called my cousin she told him I don't need Matthew anymore, give me someone else in his place. My cousin proposed the Queen to kill me but she said I don't need to kill him, I will send him to part of the world where people don't know him. While Magdalene was talking to my cousin, an entrepreneur arrived from the earth. This businessman always buy people, I mean he buy slaves that have been killed in witchcraft and detain in the world of witches, and these slaves work in his many companies. This man takes slaves to earth in his field where they do agriculture. On that day this man bought 30 slaves that were in chains and he paid his money. He was about to leave when Magdalene told him, I give you this slave called Matthew. He is hard-headed. This man then took us to his field. When we arrived to earth in the field of this man I saw many laborers working. I was stunned for these laborers were very short while we had normal height. As we laughed at them one of them said, you are laughing at us, you will become like us. When we arrived they gave us instruction to sow in the field to reap and take the harvest to a specific place. We work in the field with supernatural strength, for we were not tired. Each one of us was given many hectares of land to work in a specific times, and there were punishment if you exceed the time. We planted all the agriculture product that you know, and strangely these product were not taking time like in normal field. The first day we were to carry bag of product. I was stunned because the slave we found there were carrying up to 5 huge bag of maize on a head, and it's like these bag had no weight, and when they moved to the point of evacuation they moved faster than cars. And when I carry these heavy bag of maize on the head, I was stunned, for they seems like sheet of paper, and I was moving with the speed of a spirit to drop them to the point of evacuation, which was a port. And in this port people perceive us as normal porter, not knowing that we were revenant and slaves coming from the forest. Often ordinary people and hunters enter the field where we were working, but they never saw us and the agriculture field. All they saw was forest. People that were ruling this field were coming from the world of men and going back. These were evil businessmen, for they were witches. Whenever they join us in the field they were in witchcraft mode, and in order to return to the world of men they were eating salty food, but we the laborers were eating food that had no salt. I was curious, for these were normal human beings though they were witches. I observed that these people come and return to earth to normal life, but we can't. And for these people to return to earth they eat food that was different from ours. One day I was appointed to join the team that deal with the food of the laborers and began to work in the kitchen. I remember when I newly arrived in this place, we were told the day you eat salt you will die. It's your choice and it's up to you. We were in the kitchen. I said these people are human like us and they tell us when you eat salt you will die, but they do not die. I was not completely on board. I was suspicious. I told my colleague we must try these food, maybe they are better than ours. They lied to us. At first they refused and feared the consequence. In the end they began to change their mind and said if they will punish us fine, we are slaves and punishment is our daily experience, and if we die fine, death is better than this life of slavery. Out of 5 mates that worked in the kitchen the 4 of us agreed to eat the forbidden salty food. But who will be the first? In the end we agreed to eat all at the same time. We took the spoon, which were actually made from human bones, and we all ate the food at the same time. We counted from 1 up to 3 and placed the spoon in the mouth. Brethren, the moment I ate that food something tremendous happened to me. It was as if I was underwater and suddenly I was pulled out of river to the surface. When I emerged in the physical world it was as if I had scales that had been removed. As if I had cotton in my ears that have been removed. I felt the air and I saw the sun, because I came from a realm that was neither day nor night, and we found ourselves in the middle of equatorial forest. When we ate that food we were received by sunshine, and for the first time we heard noises of bird. We could no longer see all the slaves and the field where we used to walk, for only the 4 of us that ate food that were here. When our eyes were open we look at each other. That's when terror overwhelmed all of us. I looked at my friend and I saw how short we were, how dirty we were, and we had many hair that cover all the face. So when we look at each other we fear one another, because our human mind that we had regained would not accept this kind of appearance. We fear one another. I fear my friend and my friend fear me, and each ran away to his own direction. Yet we were in the middle of equatorial forest. I walked the forest for 3 days and I met all kind of wild animal. But since I have been living in the submarine world of Satan for 3 years I was not afraid of these animals, but I was tired and hungry. After walking 3 days I sat by the side of the tree in the middle of the forest. The Lord grace was upon my life. There were monkeys on this tree and these monkeys were being chased by hunters. When I looked I saw coming these hunters that were talking to one another. I was relaxed with my head bowed and I had a lot hair, because I have been dead for 3 years. But when one of them saw me he looked at me and thought that I was an animal. He told his friend, look, there is an animal there, let's shoot him. They were about to shoot me because they thought I was an animal, and when I lifted my head they saw that I was a human. They fell to the ground in terror because I looked like a demon. When they rose they began to run and they were screaming, in the name of Jesus Christ, demon, you won't touch us. I was running after them and I said, brother, don't run, I am a human being like you. They said, never, you are not a human being. There is no man in the world with your appearance, you are a demon. We don't know you and we did not come here for you either, and we owe you nothing. Please find another soul, not us." They were running with great speed and with their strength, and they were screaming the name of Jesus Christ. I said, "Don't run away from me, I need your help." They replied, "Never." Finally they stopped in distance and said to me, "Stay back there, don't come close to us." I told them, "I am lost in the forest for many months, I don't know the way back, help me." But my appearance is what terrorized them. God by His grace caused these hunters to stop, and one of them said, "He speak like a man, he might be a man." But his friend, "Look at how short I was, with only a short on me and my face covered with hair, and I was dark like black coal," and he could not accept that I was a human being. He said to his friend, "Human being, don't look like this. This man is not a human. We are facing a wicked spirit of the forest, he might cause us harm." I said, "I won't hurt you, you must help me." The Lord touched the heart of one of them and he told me, "Fine, we will help you, but follow and keep your distance from us as you follow us." I was following these hunters' steps and they were moving forward, praying and declaring words of faith, telling me, "You will do us no harm." Finally we arrive in their place. They ask me, "Are you really a man?" I said, "Yes." They said, "Why so much dust and dirt on your body?" I said, "I have been lost in the forest for a long time, I could not bath." I did want to tell them that I was dead and I came back to life. Since I was not washing for 3 years, there was many layers of dirt on my body, you cannot imagine. I had to use a knife to scratch them. Then they gave me food, thank God they put a lot of salt in it. The more I ate, the more my memory opened. Then they told me, "We have helped you, now this is the road to the village." I thought it was a short road, but it was really long, and I got lost in the forest for 4 days, until I met a man that was dressed in white garment. I was so tired and hungry. The man in white, whose face I could not see, who asked me, "My son, what is wrong?" I began to tell him what happened to me. He said, "My son, I know your story, you don't need to tell me, just take this road that will lead you to the village, but you will meet 3 soldiers on the way. Tell them your story because they will lead you to the authority. In the end, men of God will pray for you and you will be released, and you will become a man of God." I always think that this man was Jesus Christ or his angel. Everything he told me came to pass, but when I met the 3 soldiers and began to tell them my story, they were terrified. They asked me about my ethnic group. Since the leader of naval force was of my ethnic group, they led me to him. As we walked the street, people were watching me, and they wonder, "What kind of man is this?" When we arrived, I realized that this commander was actually my relative. The soldiers left me outside and entered the office to talk to the commander. They said, "Chief, we were in mission when we met a strange short man in the street who called himself Matthew Bajoko." When the commander heard that name, immediately he interrupted them and said, "Stop right there, that is the name of my relative who died 3 years ago. You are not serious." The soldiers say to the commander, "The strange short man is outside." The commander said, "Get him inside." When I got in his office, I recognized my relative, the commander, and said, "Brother, I am Matthew," and when he recognized me, he fell to the ground and was taken to the hospital.